14-inch SUV bandsaw. It's one of the first shipment of bandsaws of this kind in Australia. There was only 16 on the shipment. I believe I was invoice number 2. I was just right in the market for a 14-inch bandsaw. I was going to try and buy a Powermatic, but man, they're pretty ugly looking things, those Powermatics. They've got baby poo brown, they're painted, they call it gold, but it's shocking looking, antiquated looking bandsaw. But I really love the Laguna ones. I saw them in America, I saw the reviews in America, and I thought, well, a company called Gregory Machinery up in Queensland in Australia, the importers of it, and it just happened to coincide with the fact that they were bringing them in just when I was after a bandsaw. So I put my order in September, all sorts of hassles later because it was right before Christmas, but eventually it arrived. It's a nice looking machine. It's a really great size for my workshop. It's just what I want because I don't have a big workshop. I've got a 2-car garage workshop here, and everything's kind of compact. I run everything from my Festool Dusty. So I've got this, I put this shroud over here which clips on here. Funnily enough, the Festool has got a sort of a mesh thing here. Not quite sure what the mesh is for. You know, I don't know whether it's sewer rats run up and they don't want to get it clogged into your Dusty. I'm not quite sure. So I actually took it out because I sort of felt that it was creating more of a resistance to any sort of dust. But you know, unfortunately, it had come. It came when it came, which is a bit of unfortunate. But it was damaged in the pallet. The pallet was pretty flimsy. I didn't think it was a great pallet. It was only made out of 1/2-inch wood, and most pallets are about 1-inch wood. But that's got squashed in. But talking to Gregory Machinery, who's going to get me a new door, I took out the little glass window here, which I can see, which shows you into the tension. I bashed it out with a rubber mallet as best I could. I do love Laguna in the fact that they brag about the fact that their logo is in 3D. I mean, seriously, it's made out of vinyl, but they're raving about how they've got a new 3D logo. Well, I think they could have fixed a few other things cosmetically. Subsequently, on this guard, the blade guard, they had another great big sticker which said Laguna blah blah blah. So in the purity of design, I took that off because that was just so ugly. I mean, it's like buying a car with 1,000 stickers that it floats on fluid and it runs on air, and you know, it's V8 this and V8 that. But look, and also the other problem was, when I pulled out the motor out of the box, which is a 3-horsepower motor, it's a heavy mother. When I pulled it out of the box, the pulley is in a cast. I think it's a bit of a cheap kind of cast actually. One of the corners was broken off, and a substantial piece, but I found I had some really good glue called Rapid Fix, and it's a really, really good 2-part glue. You put in the glue, and then you put on some fiberglass powder, and it's supposed to be 25 times stronger than steel, and I tested it and filed it down and fixed it all up. Lo and behold, I've got it, it's on, I've got it working. I haven't got the manufacturer to try and send me another pulley, so I don't know how long it'll last, but for the moment, there's nothing worse than getting a brand new toy, especially over Christmas, and the people are shut down. And of course, you know, it's frustrating. It's like having a new car, but your steering wheel broke. Anyway, they're just a few little minor things, but we get over these problems. Now, the other thing this is a really great saw. I mean, I've done some testing on it, some basic testing. I haven't had it too long, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's quiet. It's powerful. Man, I cut through. I've got some hard Australian timbers here, anything from Jarrah, black butt, which are probably the equivalent to Americans, you know, walnut and things like that. Man, this just cut through it just like it was hot knife through butter. I mean, I am just guiding with my fingers. There's no pressure I'm using at all, and it's just sliding through. And I cut out a little thing the other day out of a block about 75mm thick in Jarrah, and it just ate it up like it was a hot knife through butter. So I do love that motor. It's a very powerful motor. I quickly did a bit of a resaw. I'll show you the piece that I have. I don't have a resaw blade. I don't have a resaw blade in it, but I just used a 3/8 blade that I actually had in. I got a great result. I mean, it's just lovely and square, and it's 1/8 of an inch at either end and up the top. And I've never done resawing before. I didn't set up any special guide. I just pushed it along the fence, and just brilliant. And it just cut through it like a hot knife through butter. And this stuff, seriously, is very heavy timber. So they have a fence. It's quite a good fence. It's nice and sturdy. It can flip up low if you're cutting something small, and flip up high when you're doing some resawing. I can show you that later, but I'm just going to run through the basis of it. It's got a nice interesting knob at the top here, which opens up to the door to show a very, very heavy cast wheel. You've got the other wheel down below, again very, very heavy cast, so that's probably why the quality in it and such. They had a rubber, well, not a rubber, but a sort of a plastic cover around the corner to sort of seal it off. Well, it's something that looks like it's been from a car, but let me tell you, I don't think it's sealed very well at all. So I actually took it off because it just slips off, it just clips over the middle. I just took it off, put it aside for the moment, and I've replaced it with some brush door seal that you would normally put around your door to stop drafts and things like that. It's just an adhesive back. It stuck that on. It makes a huge difference. This lock's pretty cool because as when you shut the door, it automatically kind of like locks and you just pull it in. But the brush that I've put on has made it better because it's quiet. It's definitely quieter. I've put it on the bottom door as well, because that's where most of the noise does come from. It seals off all the way around. They had I'll show it to you here. This is a nice looking saw, fairly nicely colour coordinated and all that. But let me tell you, down here is a little latch which you have to lower, raise and lower accordingly to opening off the door. The whole idea of that is to create more of a better seal, so when you're sucking out the dust, it's more efficient. But I love this was the knob that they had. Some cheesy looking little wing nut, which is like 2 cents worth. So I got rid of that. I couldn't stand it. It's terrible. It's terrible on your fingers and it's cheap and nasty. So I replaced it with a great little knob that I've got here, which I just happen to have in my little jig outfit. And it's much easier to use. It looks kind of funkier. You set that up there. I've also inside, I've modified mine a bit. Straight away I always try to improve on something. There was a series of holes up the side, which seemed to be like construction holes of when they made the frame. And so I've sealed those over just with a bit of tape to test to see how it goes. I've sealed up all the gaps inside of it, included there's a bottom exhaust hole, and I've sealed that up as well because I sort of feel that the dusty that I've got is pulling out plenty of dust here. There's barely any dust that gets inside the cabinet at all. So I've sealed that off and pretty much sealed any air leak gaps around. So the dust extraction is really good. What I've done, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I've just modified a bit. It's a pretty basic kind of piece of machinery, so you can modify it as you like, because I think some of this Chinese manufacturing is pretty ordinary. Also, too, around the edge here, that nicely colour coordinated around the edge here. They've painted it in what looks like an awful like hospital green grey, like greeny kind of colour, which doesn't match anything on the store. So I spent last night just sanding all that off with my Festool sander, changing all the grits down. So I've pretty much polished all the edge now because it's a cast iron top. Cast iron edges looks much better now, looks more slicker. more professional looking, and I really like it because I'm a bit sort of fastidious like that, because being an interior designer, I tend to get a bit carried away with these things at times. But you've got a nice piece of equipment, it looks good. You've got the release bar at the back to take off the release off the blade. You've got a foot brake with a micro switch which stops the blade from spinning. Instantly switches it off. It's really good. I'll fire up my Dusty, and I'll show you how not noisy it is. The Dusty, the Festival Dusty, is actually noisier than the bandsaw. So I'll start the bandsaw up first so you can hear it. Fortunately, there's an aeroplane going on at the moment. So now I'll just fire up the bandsaw itself. So I can comfortably talk over it. I think it's probably about 50 decibels. It's really quite, I certainly don't need any ear protection because it's actually so quiet. Now I'll turn on my Dusty. So now it's a little bit louder, but needless to say it's really easy. But I'll just cut a bit of wood. Here I've got a bit of Douglas fir. It's about 1.25 inches. It cut through like a hot knife through butter. Not a problem at all. Good cut. I've got a variety of bandsaw blades that I've yet to try out. I've got a 3/8 blade in at the moment with a 4 tooth per inch. The other really good thing is this is a rack and pinion, and it's got a resaw of 350 millimeters, which is incredible, and it's got the power to do it. So this is really nice and sturdy. There's no pushback on here. It's solid as a rock, and this rack and pinion is fantastic. It's really nice and positive. Just lock it off here, easy peasy. The table is really good. I might show you the table here to adjust is really easy. Just a matter of 2 knobs underneath here under a little rocker. Just dial this, whoops. I find that if you just make it a little bit tight. Now it's just a matter of dialing it with this dial because it's got a gas lift on the back, which actually helps it stay in position, which is kind of cool. I probably won't do much 45 degree in reality, but who knows. It's got a nice little stop at the back so you can reset that so you get this nice perfectly 90 degrees. All in all, it's a great saw. I'm really happy with it. It's got a little mobility thing at the bottom which I can show you as well, but I'm really happy with it. A few little idiosyncrasies, but then I'm just fussy and I'm happy to sort of modify it. So SUV means souped up version. Well, mine's is even souped up a little bit more than their souped up version. I've sort of pimped mine. Okay. All right. Well, I'll show you some other little excerpts of the video.